Good morning and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is, of course, our daily get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at headlines, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas on how to take advantage of living in Puerto Vallarta as an English speaking local community. It is always a pleasure to see you every single day. And it is always a pleasure to welcome new friends into the daily broadcasts. If you are new, my name is Paco, and we'd love to find out more about you. So if you can write the word new in a comment, we'll give you a great proper welcome. And of course, if you have any specific questions that you want to tackle during the broadcast, just write the letter Q before your question, and that way we'll get to it during the broadcast. And if we don't, we'll get to it shortly thereafter. So here we are. Yesterday we had a lot of fun talking about digital radio and internet radio, rather, and you had some wonderful questions about how to go about it. I failed to whip out my own, so here it is. This is my itty bitty little Ocean Digital internet radio. It has its own built-in battery, and it has outputs on the back for headphones and for line out. So this is the perfect travel companion. I just thought I would share it with you. So today, let me take a quick look at who's here, because it's always fun to see friends that visit us on a regular basis. Jeannie is in the house. Craig is always here. Craig, I went and liked what was I going to say? Oh my God, I lost it. Craig, I forget if you're still in Puerto Vallarta or not. If you're still in Puerto Vallarta, I hope you're enjoying yourself. That's what I wanted to say, because I know that you visited recently, or you may still be here. Sad news for San Miguel de Allende. They're back in orange. Guanajuato is, and we're going to talk about the federal stoplight in a minute. It's great to see you all. It's great to see Raymond baking bread. Well, you're not baking bread in Conchas Chinas. You bake bread near my house, but it's great to see you. James is in Gringolandia. And Doug, yes, it was lovely to meet you yesterday. It is always great to run into friends from Coffee and Headlines when we're out and about. I'm always so eager to meet who's watching and what makes you come back to the show. And of course, it's always really wonderful to see what you're thinking. Let's see. Oh no, Doreen is leaving, but is coming back in 2 months. Safe travels, and stay safe wherever you're going. Logan says, finally, and I am reminded, thank you very much, Logan, because yesterday I promised that I would put information about horseback riding tours in the show notes, and I failed to do so. So today, I will very much definitely do that, because I promised I would do it yesterday, and I failed to do that. My apologies. Edgar says he's a local but loves to see the news. Muchos saludos, Edgar. You are more than welcome to be here. Todo el mundo es bienvenido, of course. Let's see. Is it now official? I am sort of, it wasn't official a few minutes ago, so I'm just intrigued as to whether the Associated Press has actually made the call. Oh gosh, it must be official because I see a few comments about this. Well, I'll hop on my U.S. news as soon as we get done with the show. Let me see who else is here. Oh, excellent that you're still here, Craig. I hope our paths can cross. And if they cannot cross, I just hope you'll have a wonderful time here in Puerto Vallarta. More countdowns. I get so excited knowing that you get excited about coming back. That is just so cool. So very cool. Uh, oh my goodness, Bill is on a plane. Okay, I'm starting to ramble because it's so much fun to see your hellos and stuff like that. So I hear that it is now official. I'll be very interested to hop on the news as soon as we're done with today. Today, we're going to take a look at a little bit of this and that. Our president was in the state of Nayarit, and I'm going to share a little bit about what he had to say and why he was here. Today, of course, we also begin the second weekend of the emergency button maneuver. We'll take a look at that. And we have other fun and interesting news items that I'm going to share with you. And we're going to have a mini love letter to Large Marge. If you don't know who Large Marge is, stick to the end of the show because she is a very wonderful character that everybody should know because we all have a Large Marge inside. Anyhow, let's just dive into the news and take it from there. Bam! Well, as I mentioned, believe it or not, today we begin the second and last weekend for the emergency button period of 14 days that here in the state of Jalisco, we are all sort of going through. I was out and about yesterday through Emiliano Zapata. It was not even 8. And I looked around me and I saw a bunch of people out having fun. Some people were wearing face masks. Others were not. A part of me wants to go all wiggy and say, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. We're all going to die. And a part of me just wants to be patient and say, well, we have to wait to see the numbers. And I continue to feel that there's very little we can do or think or jump to conclusions about until we look at the numbers. And of course, the numbers will not manifest any change for another week or two because that's just the nature of the virus, the amount of time it takes to propagate. There's another headline to that effect, but in this one actually says that our president, Lopez Obrador, was asked, are we going to have further shutdowns just as they're having in Europe and other countries? And Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador has said, there's no way we are going to implement new periods of confinement as it's happening in Europe because the context in our country is very different. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador was quoted saying, we consider that unlike Europe, where every country applies their own policies, we are not in an emergency situation of confining and going back to closing commercial venues and businesses. It is not necessary because we are trusting the people and we're trusting that people will do what they're supposed to do so that we can all take care of ourselves. So here's the interesting thing. The Mexican government, at least at the federal and state level, is very much about trust. And that's cool. But again, we're going to have to wait and see what happens with the numbers when the numbers reveal if we are indeed that trustworthy or not. And I don't say that as a criticism of ourselves, Mexicans or anybody. I mean, when the government says we trust that people will do, that's perfectly kosher. That's cool. But the bottom line is, are we going to do our share or not? The numbers will tell. We'll have to wait and see. Now, as I was telling you, Lopez Obrador was in Nayarit. He was in Nayarit because he was here to supervise work on a highway to a town, and I forget the name, but I'm going to show it to you in the map in a second. This highway was promised to the state of Nayarit 2 presidential periods ago, and they didn't get zilch. In his visit, it's a town called La Yesca, where a dam, a big reservoir was built And two periods ago, again, two presidential periods ago, they were promised a road to get there, and it is a tiny little town in the middle of nowhere. Uh, President Lopez Obrador, said he is happy to be in Nayarit for the second time in a short amount of time, because Nayarit, he said, is a forgotten state, a state that has been forgotten by the past governments, with many needs, where there is luxurious tourism or luxury tourism in Banderas Bay, but there's also extreme poverty elsewhere. So it is nice to see, for the sake of Nayarit, that our president doesn't seem to have any bones to pick with Governor Antonio Echeverria. They seem to work very well together, unless, as opposed to the way our president works, or rather doesn't work, with the governor of Jalisco. They don't have a very good relationship, unfortunately. And I went and Googled this town of La Yesca, and indeed, it's in the middle of nowhere. And there's nothing around it. It has a tiny population. And if you look at the map, there is Puerto Vallarta, and here's the road that goes into Guadalajara. And up here in the middle of nowhere is this town. And if you zoom into the map, you can see that it's just a teeny, weeny town in the middle of nowhere. So that's what President Lopez Obrador was doing in our neck of the woods. This other headline has to do with more background information about the town. We learned that it has 6,000 people, and we don't need to get into more details here, but we do know that yesterday, the president had to go through 36 kilometers of dirt road just to get there. That's how bad things are. Let's see. We also revealed, well, we didn't reveal, the federal stoplight was revealed again, as it is revealed at the end of every week. And we can see that there are a number of states that are in different colors. There are 9 states in. Oh, there are 2 states that are in the red still. There are 9 states that are in orange. No, that's not 9. That's a lot more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 states are in the orange, and that includes the state of Jalisco. And there are 9 states in the yellow. That's what it is. And of course, there's still 1 state in the green. And of course, this is a federal guideline, has very little to do with what we're doing, because as we know, we dance to our own tune here in the state of Jalisco. I know you're all distracted with what's going on north of the border. I'm looking at your comments. It's really funny to watch. But I will continue with what we're doing here. And I will take a look at what's going on north of the border in a little while. The back and forth between cyclists and cars continues to take place. Look at this graphic. In this graphic, we take a look at the brand new bicycle lane, which is not only blocked by cars, but it is also expected to be a two-way lane. See? So we're going on a one-way street, and it has a two-way bicycle lane. So would you be riding the opposite way when you know that cars are likely to disregard it, and all of a sudden you could find yourself against a car? Of course not. So now the bicycle community is asking for another bicycle lane on the other side of Avenida Mexico. This is a brand new bicycle path that goes from Plaza Caracol all the way to Ixtapa. So this is entirely, this entirely shows how the local community of both drivers and cyclists still has a long way to go to learn about each other's culture and to respect about each other's needs and boundaries. But hopefully we will continue to go in the right direction as far as this is concerned. Nothing would make me happier to see more cyclists feeling safe around the city. Let me take a quick look at your comments. Let's see. Large Marge was a character in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Thank you very much. And yes, she drove a truck. Why are we going to talk about Large Marge today? Well, we're getting close to that in a second. north of the border, north of the border, north of the border, north of the border. This is very funny. I can see that everybody's going crazy, but that's okay. That's okay. You can enjoy the U.S. politics. We're still going to coffee and headline our way through this morning, and I'll get caught up with everything else. We'll take a look at everything else in a second. Paco, can you tell me what the three bright lights are across the bay, and can someone go unplug them? My goodness, Stephen, I wish I could help you, but I don't know exactly what you are talking about. Or is this a metaphor for something? Maybe I'm being dense this morning. I'm intrigued about these three bright lights. Maybe we're all going to be abducted or something. Let's see. Kelly's about to get here. And Catherine tells us that she was at that intersection yesterday, and it is unfortunate that the government has yet something to learn about both cultures, both the cyclist and the driving culture. But again, I hope these are steps heading in the right direction. With that thought in mind, let me switch over to the weather just to see what things are looking like for this weekend. Okay, it is 27 degrees, feels like 29. It is 81 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit. I'm sorry. And humidity went back up, 72%. What's going on, humidity? I thought we were on a right track here. I hope it's temporary, actually. Although the snarky weather comment today is the more you check the weather, the faster the election results will update. So that seems to have come to fruition. The weather forecast for today, humid through the day. Tomorrow it'll be humid through the day as well. But the high temperatures are lower. Now the high temperatures are of 30 degrees. That's 2 degrees less than we have seen. Monday, it'll be humid through the day. So again, the weather continues to slowly and steadily decrease, the temperature rather, and we like that very much. Before we go any further, I want to acknowledge the Living Room Bookstore and Cafe. They have been going through a 1 week long anniversary celebration, and what a year it's been for the bookstore. If you haven't visited the Living Room Bookstore and Cafe in Marina Vallarta, it is a beautiful, beautiful place where you can buy books, where you can chill and read, where you can hang out and have a coffee with friends. It really is one of the few actual bookstores in Puerto Vallarta, and I believe it's the only bookstore that carries new books in English. You can find used books in English elsewhere, but I do believe this is the only one. If I'm wrong, please correct me, and please correct me if you know of others, because everybody should know where to find a good book. We wish the Living Room Bookstore a wonderful, successful first year and many more to come. Absolutely. Moving right along, this has nothing to do with here, but I couldn't resist. Tesla, the brand, the manufacturer of electric cars, has come up with their own tequila brand. And look at these bottles. They are absolutely stunningly beautiful. And apparently they went for sale. And did I see the price somewhere? It's $250 per bottle, and the bottles are beautiful. Apparently, they announced their own tequila, and their own tequila bottles sold out immediately. So I don't know that we will ever be able to get one of these or be able to see one of these in person. But I was truly drawn to these beautiful glass bottles. I wonder how glass manufacturers make something as beautiful and sculptural as that. You'd have to be a glass manufacturer to know. Moving right along. Oh, we're getting to the large March segment. Large March segment is because the prices to get a driver's license in the state of Jalisco have increased. We are now expected to pay 642 pesos for a driver's license. That is a 58 peso increase from last year. And the chauffeur, excuse me, Thank you. The chauffeur's driver's license is also increased. It increased for 70 pesos. It is now 766 pesos. Now, what is the difference? I wonder if you wonder. Because everybody that I know here in Mexico has told me that if you want to get a driver's license, you have to get a chauffeur's driver's license, not a driver's license. And you're probably wondering, well, why? I'm just a driver. Well, in Mexico, not that I think it makes that much of a difference, but the price difference is less than 50 pesos. In Mexico, you get a regular driver's license if you're going to drive your car, period. You're not going to use it for anything else other than to drive your car and drive your family. A chauffeur's driver's license or a driver's driver's license allows you to be like large Marge and drive a bigger vehicle. So here's large Marge. God bless her. She looks so happy, doesn't she? She looks like a repo. No, I'm not going to say that. Anyhow, Large Marge is a big truck driver from a movie in Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. So if you ever want to drive a bigger vehicle, and I'm talking even a minivan, if you drive a minivan and don't have a minivan driver's license, something could happen. I don't know what, but just go out and get a chauffeur's driver's license if you're going to get a local driver's license. And of course, if you're wondering about Large Marge and you've never experienced Large Marge, I'm sharing the video clip that goes along with her so that you can enjoy it because it is on YouTube. And that, believe it or not, brings me to the end of the show. We still have about 10 more minutes to fill in if we stick to our usual 30-minute-ish limit or length of broadcast. I'm going to take a quick look at your questions and answer whatever I can, although I can see that many of you have an eye on Coffee and Headlines and many of you have an eye on north of the border. And that's cool. That's cool. I am intrigued as to what's going to happen. We have not been spending a lot of time looking at what's going on north of the border because understandably there are other news sources where you can find more accurate information on the U.S. electoral process. However, in the weeks to come, we are going to start taking a look at how the presidential election in the United States impacts Mexico as far as the relationship between the two countries are concerned. Our president, Andrés Manuel López Obrador, has been asked repeatedly, what do you think about the elections in the United States? And he has said, I am keeping myself out of the discussion until the elections are announced and we know exactly who we are going to be dealing with. And Pat is very right. I mean, the election affects, well, maybe, no. Maybe not every person on this planet. I think the U.S. is a big, wonderful country, but, I'm sorry to disagree, Pat. I think it does not affect every person on the planet, and it certainly doesn't affect people in other planets as well. But it is an important election. Certainly, it is an important for our neighbor country. So we're going to keep track on what's going on. Paul doesn't seem to have enough with having his own bathing suit brand. Now he wants to have his own Mercurio. Okay, fine, Paul. You branch out as much as you want. Let's see. Scott is heading into Puerto Vallarta today. Okay, more political stuff. Okay, so I see that we are done here. Not because I want to cut it off, but because clearly we are going to all take a quick dive into what's happening with the news. And we're going to come back tomorrow with Sunday Fun Day. As you know, Sunday is our day to take a break from the news. So tomorrow, I still don't know what we're going to do, but as usual, it will probably have something to do with language. It will have something to do with potty language, and it will have to do with other distracting things I will come up with during the day. So this is Coffee and Headlines for today, a slightly shorter broadcast, but I'm always grateful for your company. It is so funny that the news were announced as I started the broadcast because I checked them earlier before we got started. So I am going to be heading into the news as much as everybody else. Michael asks, what is Sunday Fun Day going to be about? I don't know. Maybe maybe what we can do for Sunday Fun Day is allow a 5 minute period in which everybody can post whatever they have to or want to, so that we can all vent about these elections and vent about the current situation, and then we just put that away and we go on with our lives. But that's just one idea. We'll see what we come up with tomorrow. Between today and tomorrow, though, please stay kind, stay safe, stay well informed, and then let's tackle one day after another. Have a great day.